Hi, I'm Carter Bone, and today we're going to learn how to wash your dishes in a camping style. Come on, I'll show you what's needed. Right. So in order to wash your dishes, you'll need plenty of items. The first item is 3 different buckets. These need to be good-sized buckets. Next, you'll need some soap, some bleach, and a little sponge. Personally, I'm using these bleach pellets, which are nice and dry, which help with the outdoorsness, because liquid bleach, it can get all over the place, but with this, it's nice, dry, and small, so it's even better than normal liquid bleach. Next, you're going to need a nice big pot to boil all your water in. We're not bringing it to a boil yet, but we'll get there in just a moment. Next, you'll need some sort of strainer. This one is used for covering pasta while you simmer it, but any sort of strainer, whether it's mesh or big holes, personally you'd want to use smaller holes. Next, you want various towels and hot pads to hold your hot bucket. That's not a bucket, that's a pot. As well as to dry your dishes, and of course a plethora of dirty dishes that need to get washed. So let's get right started. The first step to washing your dishes is to get some hot water. So we're going to take your pot here, we're going to put it on the stove, we're going to light it.
There's no propane.
Flames. Now that the water is boiling, we're going to get it to a near boil, but not quite a boil, because we're going to be putting our hands in it. Let's come back when this is all nice and warm. All right. Now that we have a pot of hot water, we're going to be pouring it into these bins, but we're not going to pour it into all the bins. In order to properly wash and sanitize all your dishes, you're going to have to use the 3-bin method. What is the 3-bin method? Well, it's simple. You have 3 bins of water to wash your dishes. The first one is full of warm, soapy water. This is to help clean and sanitize all your dishes. The second one is also warm water, but without anything added. This acts as a rinser to get any other particles off. The third bin is clean, cool, bleached water, which is what the bleach is for. This is to make sure there's no bacteria whatsoever on your plates. So let's get this warm water into these bins. And if you ever run out of water in your bins, you can always boil up some more. But you want to make sure that it's nice and hot, but not too hot where you can stick in your arms, and that's hot. So you don't want to stick your arms in that. So make sure to add some cool water into it. Alright, now that we have our 3 bins full of warm, and cool water, we're going to fill them up with our soap and bleach. So in the first bin, we're going to take some of the soap. It can be normal dish soap. We're just going to pour a little bit in. Not too much. The second one, we're going to do absolutely nothing with, except make sure that it's nice and warm. And then the third one, we're going to take some of our bleach. I have this dry bleach tablets, and we're going to pour it in. Sprinkle it all into that water. Now, for each of these, we're going to mix them. Now, you can stick in your hands and mix them, but if that's too hot for you, you can always take some of your dirty dishes and swish them around in the water. However, it's not that warm, so I'm going to take my hand, swish the water around, make sure it's nice and soapy. This is also a really good chance to clean your hands while on camping trips. So, while you don't want to do dishes, you want to make sure you get your hands and your dishes nice and clean. So for the bleach, we're going to swish it around, make sure it gets all nice and mixed. And be careful not to spill any bleach on your clothing, as it could be harmful to your clothes or you. Now that we have our 3 bins ready to wash our dishes, we're going to take one of our dirty dishes. Let's take our nice dirty camping mug, Friends of Scouting. We're going to dump it in the soap, make sure it's nice and clean. If you need help, you can always use your handy sponge to get those stains out. And be careful before entering it into any of these bins, and not to have that many food particles. You want to try not to have food particles, as it could contaminate the water. Once we're done with the soap, we're going to put it in the rinse, get any soap particles or last moment food remnants out of the water, out of the dish and into the water. Then we're going into the bleach for last moment sanitize. Then the fourth and final step is to take a towel and dry off your utensils and other cups and plates and whatever it is you're washing. You want to make sure they're nice and dry. However, you can also use air dry, but if you need these dishes right away, drying it by a towel is always easier. Now let's get the rest of our dishes cleaned. Now that we have all of our dishes cleaned, it's time to get rid of all of our wastewater. But how do we do that in a safe manner? Well, we're going to have to strain it into planters. So right here I have my strainer, which I talked about earlier in this video. So my assistant is going to come over here and is going to hold it in over this planter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first bin, the bin of soapy water, and I'm going to pour it through. This is so any food particles that are still in here don't go into the planters, so animals in the wild go and eat them. So I'm going to just pour it through. And make sure you dump it in an area that is a safe distance from your camp. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to take the warm rinse bin and we're going to dump it into the warm soapy bin. Then we're going to take the warm soapy bin and pour it once again over the strainer. What this is doing is not only getting rid of the water in a safe, clean manner, it's also cleaning the bins. Lastly, we're going to take our bleach water, pour it in the rinse bin, take the rinse bin with the bleach water, pour it in the soap bin, and lastly, we're going to take the soap bin and pour it through the strainer one last time. Alright, now that we have our clean bins, it's time for them to dry. Alright, thank you all for coming and watching this how-to guide on how to wash your dishes while on a camp out with your troop. I hope you all learned something very important and valuable to your scouting journey, and I'll see you at the next video.